things that Western medicine cannot treat are the things that acupuncture usually can treat. Alrighty? And so it truly is a merge between Eastern and Western medicine. It really is. So when you go down the body and people that have migraines, headaches, we've seen patients with migraines and headaches that are down in bed 3 out of 4 weeks of the year for years and years and years. And you know, after acupuncture, I haven't seen them in 2 years. Or they'll call up after 6 months and says, I feel a few coming on. Get me in and give me a tune-up. So for migraines and headaches, it's been very much proven that it helps. Sinuses. People don't think about sinuses, eyes, nose, congestion, allergies, autoimmune. If you get in early, autoimmune, all kinds of autoimmune. Joints, arthritis. We had a lady with arthritis that had it for years, and she had big knuckles and had, remember those rings that you used to wear to separate the fingers so they don't get little sores? Came in their late 60s, early 70s, very vibrant. Husband played golf every day, wife was very active, but one day she woke up and she couldn't hold a knife. Well, they're too young to go into assisted living, into nursing homes, right? Because they're active. So it took us 8 treatments, but we got her hands moving where she could hold a knife. We taught her exercises, and I haven't seen her in 2 years. So arthritis. So if we can get you early, we can actually help you a lot more than when you come in so late. It helps with any kind of joint pain, knee pain, ankle pain, severe sprains, broken ankles. We've treated lots of athletes. We've treated lots of trauma, concussions. So lots of things. And if you go to the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and their website, there are so many studies and research that shows you what things that acupuncture could help. There's a lot more that we can help that's not on the site. But if you call people up, we can tell you, yes, we've treated this, yes, we've treated that. Depends on your stage, what your body's like, and everybody responds a little bit differently to acupuncture. Alrighty, so just as a generality, we'll have questions and answers at the end, so I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have. The subject is so broad, and it's so interesting that I could study forever and not know everything. So it's a fascinating art plus the science, and it's been around for thousands of years. Now, most of you are either caregivers or you have GBS, correct?
Or CIDP.
Or CIDP. Okay. So, Anita, I want you to start, and I want you to give them your history of how yours started.
Quickly, I had GBS. It was acute. We were snowshoeing one day. I was paralyzed the next day. And so the long and short of it is that I'm a nurse practitioner. I have a lot of experience. I see myself as a guinea pig. I have tried lots of different modalities. Unfortunately, most medications have not worked, and then I have had just about every side effect imaginable. In fact, I just have to share one little side effect. I live in Camillus, and Margaret practices in Manlius, and I did everything I had because I knew I had to go that one day. I had a horrific headache, the worst headache of my life. I worked in ERs for a long time, and that's like a really bad thing to have the worst headache of your life. I got there, and she gave me a treatment, and by the time I left, the headache was gone and did not return. It was a drug headache. It was from some of the drugs that I was on. And that was miraculous to me. That was absolutely miraculous.
What kind of drugs were you on?
I'm not going to go into that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to present at the next meeting.
Okay.
If you want to talk to me one-on-one, I do not want to everybody reacts differently. Okay, so I don't like to say what particularly happened with each drug with me, unless we get to know each other and that kind of thing.
What did you end up on?
Not much. Working with Margaret. But unfortunately, what Margaret said, and not unfortunately, but I did come into it pretty much as a last resort. When she saw me, I was really at a desperate place. I tried everything. We spent lots of money, and I was really desperate. When she says that I've maintained, I believe that she has kept, I mean, yes, I haven't grown great myelin, and yes, I have still lots of pain and contractions and all that, but I definitely feel in general better, which she explained to me that acupuncture works on the whole body for the body to heal itself. And in 42 years, and even before that, when I was a little girl, I was studying the sciences of the body and all that. And the body can heal itself, and at least to a good place. Not perfectly, you know, I'm not going to be, I'm 46, how old am I? 63, I'm not going to be 43 again, you know, that kind of thing. But I feel like she has really helped me, the rest of me feel somewhat better. I mean, I felt like I had the flu on steroids every single day, and I don't feel like that every single day anymore, that kind of thing. Is that enough? Or too much? I didn't want to.
No, that's wonderful, that's wonderful. Because for Anita, we couldn't reverse the pain, we couldn't really decrease it much, but we could help her with her autoimmune system so that we could balance her body as much as we could in
And
this.
you really have helped me a lot with nausea and taught me things. I hope she's going to share a few of those, you know, just like this, it helps, and this really helps. These simple things that it help with, because nausea is something that I deal with a lot, and she's helped me a lot with that kind of thing.
When were you diagnosed?
Almost 3.5 years ago.
And to have it that sudden, the next day, that's how fast, as all of you know, GBS can come. Usually, I'm very close to GBS because my brother had it when he was 5 years old. Woke up one day screaming in pain. My legs hurt, hospitalized, had the whole spinal tap, everything. Parents thought that he'd never walk again. Devastating. Docs didn't know back then, you know, what was wrong. And I remember my dad getting on his knees and praying because there's nothing else you could do, right? And thank God, after a couple months, he did slowly regain the use of his legs. And he has the use of his legs today. But for some reason, as most of you know, you probably know far more about GBS. So I'm just going to touch lightly on it because I know everybody has a little different scenario and different, it hits Chinese children at a very high incidence, and we don't know why. It's something with their autoimmune system. And we know GBS is an autoimmune disease. Now, what triggers it? Most of the time, as you know, for most people, it's either a viral, it's always viral, whether it's a GI symptom or a respiratory symptom, and now with all these different viruses, the Zika virus, everything else, they're seeing more and more of GBS. And I wonder if it's not just viral, but our whole environment, because the whole earth is changing. I mean, if you look at our food, you know, so much of it is genetically modified. And if you look at our soil, they used to say that, you know, if you're farmers, you're the healthiest. Well, now we can plant the same plants and food as our parents did, but the soil's more polluted. We don't have as much nutrition. So everything's different. Look at our environment, right? So we have to really take extra care of ourselves and then spread the word to our children, our grandchildren, our neighbors, so that we can eat and live as healthily as we can. So part of this is just to introduce you to acupuncture. And like I said, we want it in every medical school. We want it as a subspecialty, so insurance has to pay for it. Because right now, California pays for it because it knows how much we save insurance companies. And we've had patients where they've had one hip replacement, we did the acupuncture the other, and we saved them a hip replacement. Think how much money that saved that insurance company. They just don't realize it. You know, it's not that, it's really ignorance. And if we can get the knowledge out to people, more and more people can be helped. And so we're where PT and chiropractor were 10 years ago. What's that? That's kind of voodoo medicine. And now the first thing you do is, did you see a chiropractor? Did you see your physical therapist, right? The first thing you do is go get physical therapy. So we're hoping in 10 years that we'll have a subspecialty, and it's going to be so common. Mexico City has the first medical school with acupuncture as a subspecialty, so that there are people that are physicians that have complementary alternative medicine as a subspecialty. So if Mexico has it, we've got to be next, all right? And also Europe has a lot of acupuncturists on board in their medical system because there was a lot of Jesuit priests that went over to China during the missionary stages. And then when the Cultural Revolution came and Mao came and they started killing off a lot of the professionals and elite, a lot of the old ancient masters taught the missionaries so that they could take it to the world because they knew they would not be around very long. And so it spread to Europe, and then we're the last ones to get on board. And so I want to touch a little bit on acupuncture. I want to kind of give you some information. I want to end with acupressure points that you can do yourself at home that really benefit you, because it gets to be very expensive, especially if insurance does not pay for it. And Medicare does not pay for acupuncture. It states in the policy. Medicare does not pay for acupuncture. And the older we get, the more problems we have, the more we need it. All right? So we're hoping that we can get on board with the insurance company so that they can pay just like with any other MD. We just figured if we're MD, they should be paying for it. And hopefully as they learn more, they will. There are two kinds of acupuncture. Well, there's many kinds of acupuncturists. There's ones that are MDs, and there are ones that are non-MDs. And you'll see more and more acupuncturists in town because there's the chiropractor school by the Finger Lakes that have added acupuncture. Oh, let's see, how long? The first graduating class was maybe 5 years ago. And so every year they'll have more graduating. It's a 4-year program where the students study acupuncture and herbs. All right, and so we as MDs, we kind of go back to our own MD training. So we have 2 separate programs. Now, there's many types of acupuncturists. My partner, Dr. Linda LeMay, who's a family doctor, and I are what we call holistic medical acupuncturists. We treat you from head to toe. So even if you come in for a joint, we kind of say, well, let's see, where's the body unbalanced? Because whenever we have a pain or we're in something's wrong, you know that there's an imbalance in the system, because when there's no imbalance, we have no pain, right? Everything functions. Oh, my shoulder hurts. What did you do to it? Did you sleep wrong? Did you injure it with sports? Did you carry something heavy? Well, that means that something interrupted the normal function of that place, right? So we know that pain is a good indicator. It says, look at me, stop. And we're trained to work through pain, work through it. And we're trying to teach the young folks now, no, pain is your best friend. Pain tells you, hey, stop, look. Don't work through that pain, because if you do, you're going to rupture something, you're going to hurt a joint, you're going to do something bad to your body. So listen to the body. And I think we've gotten to be in such a rat race and such a fast pace with everything from young kids. You know, they're rushing from school to practice to music lessons, and they're tired all the time. So we have to get back to nature and listen to ourselves, listen to the body, relearn how to listen. When something's tight, when something doesn't feel good, when you're stressed, when your stomach's a ball, what's wrong? What's going on that the body doesn't like? So there's different training programs. A lot of the orthopedics will hire acupuncturists that just do pain. They do pain management, or they only do joints. All right, so you have a shoulder problem, they'll put 6 or 12 needles in your shoulder. If you have knee problems, it's just the knee. So different types. Where we're more holistic, we treat the whole body. There are people that just treat sections. So you need to know who you're going to, and so it's asking questions. All righty, and so
Can I interrupt one?
yes, go right ahead. Please do.
Well, I just want to say, I'm sure everyone here that has pain knows what it feels like. You look like you're normal, and you try to tell a doctor that you have pain, and you feel like they don't get it. Margaret actually has been through her own history of having a lot of pain, and she gets it. You can see it in her face when you tell her about your pain. She gets it, which is, I just had to put that
Oh,
there.
thank you.
I know, even for myself, I used to, I was in a family practice, and I believed that the person had pain, but boy, they didn't look like it. You know, I think I look pretty normal, but I have a lot of pain. But she gets it, so I just wanted to add that.
Oh, and pain is the hardest thing to diagnose, right? And it's all subjective. Some people feel with the same amount of pain. Some people feel excruciating. Others barely feel it, right? Every one of us is very individualized. And so medical care has to be individualized and customed. And so I just feel that, what we do in our life brings us to where we are today, right? So what Anita was saying is I was rear-ended about 6 years ago by a young gentleman that was texting. And so I was out of work for 6 months. I couldn't use my hand or my fingers. I couldn't approximate my fingers. I had spasms and pain every day for 6 months, and I thought, oh, there goes my life. It's over. And so I had to work through, and I had to seek medical care. And you just feel like you're going from one doctor's appointment to another every day. But I did acupuncture 3 times a week. I had chiropractor every day because none of my muscles in my vertebrae would stay aligned, and I would be in agony within 2 hours. I did massage twice a week for 3 years. And so you're doing everything you can. You soak in Epsom salt, you put heat, you try to gentle stretch. So you know about chronic pain. We all have our chronic pains, and so we all have the burdens we carry, right? So we try, if we can find something that helps us, we try to spread the word and help other people. So as a generality, in Western medicine, we think of organs. We have 12 main organs. And we think of organs as organs, right? They're individual organs. Well, in Chinese medicine, these organs are attached to pathways that connect from head to foot, goes through the organs, and they're paired, and they go up, and they have. So I have all kinds of charts on here that shows all the organs, and they go one directional. So feel free later on, when we're done, to go around and look at my charts, because it's phenomenal, alrighty? So we have head points, we have ear points, we have hand points, we have scalp points, we have face points, we do sinuses. We actually, as a very funny thing, we actually do cosmetic acupuncture. People that don't want Botox.
Do anything for me.
And so you didn't ask for it. But we actually have people that come for cosmetic acupuncture, get rid of wrinkles because they don't want Botox. It's not something we advertise, not something we like to do, but it's very well known to help with skin and wrinkles, but that aside. But we do face, we do sinuses, a lot of sinuses, periorbital to help with glaucoma, help with eye disease, help with jaw, TMJ. When TMJ is locked, we help with it. We help with dizziness. We help with ringing in the ears. So there's a lot of things that it helps that may not be on the NIH site, but through years and years and hundreds of years of history, subjectively, we can tell you that we can work on it. So on the body, there's meridians that go from head to foot, and they're paired. And in Chinese medicine, many things are similar that you know in Western medicine. So if you have liver disease, you know pretty soon your eyes get yellow and jaundice because the liver meridian shows up in the eyes. All right? So there's a lot of correlation. If you have kidney disease, we know that a lot of people have deafness or ear problems. Well, we've known that in Chinese medicine for a long, long time. And kidneys and bones are related. And so it just brings it to the next level when you study Chinese medicine. You can study for years and it just gets more and more interesting. How everything's interweaved in such an intricate level. And so I have charts all over, and when you get done, feel free to walk around. But the trigger points, a lot of the trigger points that we inject are acupuncture points. And now that we have special machines, they actually have a machine that can take an x-ray of you and you can see your 12 meridians on the field. So now it's proven, and that's why it's a lot more accepted now.
I have not heard of that.
Go on the NIH site.
That they've actually seen the meridians?
Yes, that you can see it on x-ray. It's a big special machine that only the NIH has. But they wanted proof, and they found proof, right? Scientists wanted proof, they found proof. And so, but we've known the meridians have been there because where the meridians are where the nerves, arteries, and veins follow. So they say, why didn't you have a chart of the meridians? We didn't need one because we have the circulatory system. We have the nervous system. Wherever there's nerves and blood, there's an acupuncture point. There's 365 known points. There's many, many other smaller points, but there's 365 major points. And on electron microscopy, when you look at the EM, now that they have the electron microscopy and they can put it on the big screen, when you look at the pathology of the skin, and you see the skin go along here, and you see the hair follicles and the sebaceous glands and the sweat glands, and you see an acupuncture point, you actually see this little funnel that goes down to the acupuncture point. And it's very interesting because when you put the needle in, you'll feel exactly where it goes and when you need to stop, because there's a little resistance that you feel. Just like when we learn how to do spinal taps. You go in until you feel that little, and that's where you stop. and you got the fluid comes right out. Or you do for children, we used to do the suprapubic tap when they have severe sepsis with the infection all over, and we have to see what organs it goes into. You go and there's a little point where it goes, and you just know, and that's exactly where you're in. Same thing with acupuncture points. You can feel where that's where you should stop. And so there's 365 points. They have different names in Chinese and they have different names in English, and they have different functions. And a lot of them have many, many different functions. They just don't have one function. They have many, many different functions. So it's very, very fascinating. I volunteer on Saturdays at Clear Path for veterans. I don't know, it's in Chittenango.
Yeah.
And we treat veterans for PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. And the Army has studied that more than anything. And they're the ones that started this whole program with PTSD. And it works wonderfully. We have the vets that come back every weekend because they love it. And so there's been a lot on ear acupuncture. And I have little samples of ears. And you know, you've heard of reflexology, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most people know about the feet. We have the whole body in the feet, right? So if you work and this is, oh, this is your stomach region. Oh, I feel a tingling in my stomach, you know, I feel a release. Well, it's not just the feet, it's the hands, the feet, and the ears. We have the whole body, we can do the whole body in your ears. So I'm gonna pass this around. And so we can do physical, mental, and spiritual with acupuncture. And it goes deep. So we treat people with depression, with psychiatric problems, with anxiety, with severe stress. There's points in the ears that balance your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system. All right? There's every organ in your ears. We can detox your liver, help your kidney, do your heart, lungs. We can do high blood pressure. We can do allergies. We can do addiction. A lot of addiction. So the Army's very big on PTSD, addiction. And now we're doing acute head concussions from Fort Bragg or Fort Drum. They bring as many soldiers as they can down, and they find that if we do the acupuncture, they actually heal faster with their head concussion. And so there's a lot of things that acupuncture can do. So you can approach it through ears. There's actually a whole system of scalp acupuncture. There's a system of body acupuncture. There's a whole system of abdominal acupuncture that Harvard teaches. There's actually Korean hand acupuncture we do for kids because you don't use needles, you use little BBs. Okay? There's acupressure. So there's many, many different forms, and I try to combine as many forms as I can because, you know, if the body hears it many different ways, it acts faster than if it just hears it once. It's like telling your kids, you know, don't touch the fire 10,000 times. They eventually get it, right? I mean, you think they don't, but yeah, or look both ways before you cross the street. You can't say it once. You say it 100 times as a parent to a child. And so the body needs the same thing. So I always tell Anita and all my other patients is, acupuncture doesn't do anything but balance your system. It tries to balance your system so that the body heals itself. It's kind of like you having a computer in your virus in your computer. Computer doesn't work. So we go in, clean out the virus, clean out your computer, reprogram everything and says, all right, now it's working. Now you go ahead and use your computer, and the computer works. All righty? And so our meridians are like highways. They're like electrical systems. And so when you injure something, it's always, if you look at, I'll backtrack just a little bit. When you look at the circulatory system and how things work, arteries and nerves are one directional. Arteries carry fresh oxygen and nutrients to the organ. It goes into the capillary system so it can diffuse out. It goes to the venous system so all the waste goes out, right? It's a one-way street. Same thing with nerves. You have the afferent nerves that go into from the brain and the spinal column. It goes into the organs. And then you have the efferent nerves that take it back to the brain and the spinal column. It's one-way streets. So are acupuncture meridians. They're one-way streets. Now, what's so smart about our bodies is that when it's injured, it tries to isolate it. So imagine the submarine underwater, and it hits something, and you've got a big hole and water's rushing in. What do? They close off, right? You have all those little doors, little compartments, right? They want to close it off so it doesn't spread to everywhere else, right? Well, the body does the same thing. It locks it up. The pain's there. It tries not to spread it to all the other parts of the body. So when we kind of test the meridians, and they're all electromagnetic, So you can kind of measure them. You have a special, special machine. You can see if they're backwards. A lot of times they're backwards. Like it's supposed to flow this way and it's flowing this way. And so you can correct it and you notice that all of a sudden, even with that, you feel a little bit better. And then when we put the acupuncture in and stimulate the system, it feels better. Now, how do acupuncture needles work? And I've got needles in here to show you. Different sizes, different lengths. They're all sterile now. Used to be that you had to autoclave them. It used to be acupuncture needles were this long, and they did surgery with them. They actually could take out your appendix and take out your gallbladder. But we've lost those great masters during the war, during the communist regime. And so now we only do superficial, which is great, because we have Western medicine to do the surgery. And so we do autoimmune, we do joints, all right, we do injury. So you see how it's single packed and it's sterile. You see how it's sterile? It's single packed, and you can have 10 in a pack, you can have 1 in a pack. They're different lengths, different sizes, different diameters. Alrighty, and so you study to where these points are. So if you have a lot of headaches, we'll do a few head points. We'll bring it down to your feet. There's exit points. There's garbage points. There's autoimmune points. Fascinating, huh? So lots of points. So we put it in, and some of these, this one is 0.14 millimeters. Now, this green tab holds it in. Can you see how the green tab holds the needle into this little guide tube? We call it the guide tube.
Does it hurt?
Well, I'll show you. I'll show you. You see the guide tube? Can you see the green
Volunteer?
guide tube? Can you see the guide
I
tube
got a lot
here?
of places.
This keeps the needle in.
Do it.
You see the green little tab? Can you see the green tab here? The green tab holds the needle
In where?
in the guide tube. Okay, otherwise the needle will fall out. Can you see the green? Okay, now if I take the green out, if I take this green tab out, the needle's loose. Now, the needle, this handle, is made like a loop. There's a special design, and there's a reason why. The needle's 0.14 millimeters. See how thin the needle is? And it bends. If I try to put this into your skin, it won't go in. It's so soft. It's so soft. Can you see the needle? Can you see the tip? Can you see the tip? It's so thin. It's thinner than your hair. Can you see how thin that is? It's thinner than your hair. Alrighty? See how thin that is? Okay, it's very thin. Very, very thin. Thinner than your hair. See this? Okay, so what we do is we put this in the guide tube. Alright, so we can hold it, so it's loose now. And let's say this is a big point. This is a big point for pain. We put it on here so that's on the point, and we tap. And the needle goes in, and it's flexible. See how soft that is? Alright, now for me, I didn't even feel it go in. Some people may, depending on what your...
But you didn't feel it.
I don't feel it, because this is 0.14 millimeters.
Yeah.
Alright, and it's very flexible. See how flexible it is? So, we had a 4th grade class come through, and everyone wanted to volunteer. Stick him, stick me, stick you, you know. And so, it's very soft. Now, the reason that this head is made this way is because muscles contract and then they relax, right? Supposedly, that's the way it works. But when you have an injury and when you have spasms, it stays in the contraction state and you can't get it to relax. You can't get it to relax. And the mechanism with that, when you study biochemistry, physiology, anatomy, is it's a positive, negative charge on the cell membrane, all right? And it's stuck. It goes positive, negative, but it can't go negative, positive. So it's stuck like this. It can't unwind. So what the needle does with this, it changes the charge with the temperature. So now what happens is when we put the acupuncture needles in, now your muscles can relax. Okay? Now how long it relaxes depends on how chronic a situation you have. And so some people it can last for a while, some people it lasts 3 days, some people it lasts a week, some people it lasts 2 hours. So it all depends on what condition and what shape you're in when you come to us, all right? And unfortunately for Anita, we couldn't do much for her spasms. But this is how acupuncture needles work, and we can put it in the head. And because it's me, I can show you here. We put it in the head. This is called GV20. It's called 100 meeting places. It's where we receive energy from the heavens. It's a good point for stress, good point for headaches. And so it's just up here. And so you just kind of walk around, and my professor used to walk around for an hour every day. He says, you know what, he doesn't have one gray hair at 60 because he does this every day. But he also had 9 children. His wife did everything. He could meditate, and he could go practice, and I thought, oh, what a life, I love that too. Huh? And so they're so thin, there's no bleeding. Because they're solid, they're not like the needles where you get immunizations where it's hollow and you inject something in. They go in between the cell layers, and so there's no bleeding. Now, if ever you do get a drop of blood, we call it a release. It's great, your body just released. It says, okay, let's get rid of this, and it's 1 drop of blood, all right? And when we get a release, we love it. And so, so when we do ear acupuncture, we take the same thing, and then there's a whole chart of what we can do. But a big point is the stress point. And it goes right in. Okay, and we do that for a lot of young adults. I have some patients that can't get in front of a class to do a report, and their professor says, you have to get up there. You know, it's high school, I'm gonna funk you if you don't. And so they come for several sessions, and we teach them behavior modification, and they can get up, not that they're comfortable, but they can get up in front of the class and they can give a speech and they pass their class. So we can do a lot of stress reduction, a lot of anxiety.
Do you do piercings?
No, we don't do piercings. That's beyond us. Can you see
Too
that?
big of a needle. Yeah.
And we could have, you know, 5 needles, 10 needles, and for PTSD, we do the ears only.
Can you tell the fascinating story about the woman, the daughter that reversed her father's severe disease?
Oh yes, it's
This story is just
we have our conventions and our meetings, and our annual meeting is actually international. And this past time it was in Anaheim, and this wonderful doctor from France came. And we have a European contingency, we have an Asian contingency, we have Australia, we have Canada, South America. I mean, people come from all over the world. They're our acupuncturists. And so this fascinating woman is now writing her 2nd book. And it's all about ear acupuncture. And you can actually diagnose the diseases of your whole body through your ears. It's very fascinating. You know, people, when they subspecialize, they can really go deep with research, right? You're not global.
Have you
But-
tested that?
Pardon?
Have you tested that?
Oh, it's fascinating.
No, have you tested with a double-blind test that
She
you can
has. And I can
diagnose?
give you, well, she's dedicated her life to this, and she spent 45 years
Doesn't mean
helping
she's tested
people.
it
Well,
as with a scientifically acceptable test.
Well, what's fascinating is that she is a remarkable physician, and she has 2 books out, and her room was so jam-packed, it was standing room only with physicians from all over the world. And her story is, and like anything else, you know, everybody has a different track record, and a lot of us are more clinical than they are research-wise, and so we're all from different backgrounds. But her story is, just to let you know her story. Her story is that her father had a chronic disease, and the Western doctors in France gave up on him. And so, because acupuncture and Chinese medicine is very big in Europe before it came to the United States, they found a doctor that would treat her father. And so he said, well, this is what he needs to do, and I need you to do ear acupuncture every day. So I will teach you ear acupuncture. And so she said she was 15 years old. That's how she became interested in medicine. It kind of geared her life work. And so her father did improve and did live for years after what the Western doctors said that he would. And so she went to medical school, and then she went into acupuncture school, and she's dedicated her life to acupuncture. And I didn't investigate her prior, you know, we went to, you know, it's a 5-day seminar, and every hour there's somebody, and there's workshops. But she was fascinating, and it's her story. So there's a lot of research, and you can look up whatever research you like on the NIH website. It's one of the many websites. AAMA, American Acupuncture Medical Association, also has a lot of research that you can find out. There's people you can call. I'm more on the clinical side. I like people. I don't like to research, but I love people. And so I kind of go with, we have journals, we have American Acupuncture Research Society. It's a whole different society that does just pure research, and then they correlate with the clinical. And I'm not as much up on that. I can tell you stories about what my patients have done and what, you know, my experience has been, but fascinating lady. But we have people from all over the world that come up and talk, just like your GBS group. where it's just so many doctors that dedicate their lives, and it's just such an invigorating, stimulating, environment, because it's all these smart people that you're back in school again. You feel like you're a student, you could just learn and learn. But there's different lengths of needles, and we treat sciatica so that, we'll have bigger, deeper needles for sciatica. They're longer because it has to go into, the butt is very different than an elbow, than a face, right? So there's different needles I'll pass around. And then here's the meridians, close hand, and I'll pass this around. These are the major meridians. You can tell I used this there for a while for studying, when I was studying. And so these are all your meridians, and there's more. There's points that are called ashi points, where just pain points. They may not be right over an acupuncture point, but they're pain points, and you want to address those points. Just like sometimes when you hurt yourself, you have a knot there, all right? And so, so I can tell you stories, and I don't have all the research to back me up, but there are research, and so you can find it on a different website, on the American Acupuncture Research Society's website.
I'd rather find it NIH then.
And then NIH, yeah. So NIH has a lot. Go under complementary alternative medicine, and then go under acupuncture. And so they've been doing research for a long time, just because, especially with US, we want more science behind everything. We have an FDA that Europe doesn't have. That's why a lot of people go to Mexico or Canada or Europe to get medicines that we can't get here, because FDA is so strict. So we need more proof, and we need more research than any other country at this point in time. But back to GBS. With GBS, it's an autoimmune disease. We don't know why some people get it and why some people don't get it. Two people can have the same virus, but then why would somebody within days to weeks get GBS and somebody else don't? We don't know. We just know that your T lymphocytes and your B lymphocytes, so T lymphocytes are more from the thymus, thyroid thymus, okay? B lymphocytes is bone marrow, all right? So your stem cells in your bone marrows. So your B and T lymphocytes attack the myelin sheath of your nerves. All right, and the myelin sheaths help conduct the electricity that goes down and shoot the message. Move your thumb. I'm moving my thumb. Oh, I've got an itch, it's going back this way. Moving my thumb is going afferent. Okay? Efferent is, oh, I got an itch here. That tells your brain. Well, when you have destruction of your myelin sheath, and then it actually can destroy the nerve itself under the myelin sheath, then that's why you have all the spasms. The body doesn't get the message. So you can't tell, and things are distorted. And so it's like, well, I can't control these contractions. I can't tell it to stop. It's just going off on its own because you have no control. It's been damaged. It's been eaten away. Or, gee, I feel tingling and pain, and I can't, and yet there's nothing there. I feel like it's burning, but I can't tell because the message has been distorted, right? And so we don't know why. There's so much research trying to be produced now just to find out why. And I think it's going to be an ongoing process because there's so many things that are caused by autoimmune. Why is it that our own immune system attacks our own body? And I think it's multifactorial. That's why it's going to be hard to find out. It's multifactorial. Every one of our bodies are different. What we genetically inherited from our parents are different. Where are our weaknesses? Where are our strengths? What kind of food are we eating? What kind of environment have we grown up? We're in a dysfunctional family. Were you abused? There's so many factors that affect our state of being, right? Totally. And so it's ongoing. Now, we do know with acupuncture that it will try to rebalance your body. So our body has a central balance. Are you familiar with the chakra systems? Have you ever heard of the chakra systems?
Heard of them, don't believe them.
Well, because you can't see it, just like you can't see the 12 meridians. And you know what? Acupuncture, let me just preface, is not for everyone. Let me tell you that. Acupuncture is not for everyone. And that's why there's so many modalities out there.
Question I have on, does an acupuncture have to be referred by a doctor?
No.
Okay.
No, most of the people have come on their own.
Okay, another question I have is I've been invited to go to one this week. He or she's in town in Ithaca, New York, and a friend of mine is trying to help me
Yes.
with this to cure my CIDP. What's my gamble on that? Should I ask my doctor before I go and get this done?
Well, I don't.
Because my autoimmune system has been.
You're immunosuppressed right now, being on the cell set and having tapering down on Salumetra. but
No,
still on
no,
steroids.
it won't injure your body in any way. The
So-
only reason we tell you to go to your doctor to get a referral is so that we have a chance with your insurance so long as you're not on Medicare. If you're on Medicare, they're not gonna pay for anything, you just know it's out of pocket.
Well, this would be a friend, he said he's gonna do it for me as a favor, you know, so.
Right,
I'm
right.
not sure, man.
Most physicians, and that's why we're trying to get on the bandwagon to the medical schools, a lot of physicians don't know anything about acupuncture, just like I had no knowledge. If you had asked me 20 years ago, I go, I don't know, I've heard about it, but I don't know how it works, and yeah, you know. It's ignorance. We're not taught in medical schools, right? The first day of medical school, the drug reps are right there next to you, doctor. If you need anything, we're right here to help you out. We're trained in the drug company, right, phase. We're not trained with the alternative. Well, it's time now. We want medical schools. We want doctors to know about acupuncture, that there's something else out there. Like any modality, it's not for everyone. You find the modality that works for you. Some people like massage. Some people like PT. Some people like all of it. Some people need all of it. Some people only need a little bit. You know, you get the Navy SEALs and your hat's off to them. Boy, are they tough. I wouldn't survive 1 hour of that, you know. Some people have stomachs of iron. And some people have such sensitive stomach, we have to watch every little morsel that we eat, right? We know where our weaknesses are. We know where our strengths are. We're all made differently.
Most physicians don't think there's pain with GBS.
No,
Yeah.
because
What-
most physicians don't have it, right?
That's right.
And you have to have pain before you understand how bad pain is, right? And so that's why you go with your gut feeling. We are patient advocates. We want you to speak what your body tells you. We want you to feel what your body tells you. And we want you to be aware and to recognize it, because we aren't taught that. We're not taught that at all. So part of this is, I don't want to go into the 5 elements. I mean, there's so much theory behind it. I want to kind of go through what you can do with acupuncture. So,
Margaret, can I interrupt you one more time?
yes,
I just I wanted you to mention the cupping and the other one, just because I know for myself, I have, no, not those.
yeah, I'm going to just pass these around for everybody.
I just
These are
wanted
just
to
little-
mention that Margaret also does additional things that I still can't say their all the names. But for one of the things is cupping. I have so much pain, and it's that I take the pain everywhere else, especially in my back. And it's miraculous because she loosens it up. You explain it, what you do, because it's whenever it always really, really helps me, because you know, even though the pain is from here, really, it's everywhere because my
You
body
tense up.
tense up all
Right,
the time.
right.
And she's able to help me with that, and that helps significantly.
So what happens, we do this in sequence. So what happens is, the body's remarkable. So let's say your normal's here, and there's a point in your ear that's called point 0. That's our normal, when we were just perfect. All right, as perfect as we can be when we're born. Now, with every pain, with every kind of disease we get, we move away from the norm. So let's say Anita's here right now, but her real norm is here. So every time we do our point 0, because we want to bring her up, so it's two steps forward, 1 back, 2 forward, 1 back, 2 forward, 1 back. And that's how acupuncture works, because the body's remarkable. It will try to adjust to wherever it thinks that this is your normal, this is your normal, this is your normal, because it has to deal with the pain. You have to live within your body. So acupuncture tries to readjust you to as normal of a state as your body will allow it to be. That's what acupuncture does never cures. Your body cures yourself. So that's one thing I want you to carry home. Acupuncture just helps your body, but your body does the work, okay? So we try to get you as close to normal. So if you're here, it's easier to get here. You're here, it's much harder to get you back to normal, all right? So what we do is, we take your pulse, because there's 12 pulses in Chinese medicine that reflects the 12 organs. We look at your tongue, because the whole body's reflected in your tongue. We look at your eyes, we look at your face, you know, just a physical inspection when we kind of look at you. All right, and then your pulses tell us where things are weak, if we need to detox you, if we need to tonify you, because all the organs are involved. It's not just the damage to your nerves in your legs. You know, your digestion is involved. You're in pain, you're stressed, you're going like this, your liver may. So we kind of feel where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are, and we try to balance your system. So we try, like for Anita, we'll do big points. There's a master point for all muscles and ligaments in the body. We try to hit that point so the muscles relax as much as possible. So once it's relaxed, because when it's like this, I can't stretch it. Okay? I can't stretch it. But when it's relaxed, I can actually stretch it out. So after I do the acupuncture, then I do cupping if that's what's needed. And what cupping does is, you've all gone to massage, right? You know that when you have a tense muscle, they try to work it out by strengthening it. They press it, right? Cupping does the same thing reversed, but above. It pulls it up, so it pulls it off the nerve and off the arteries. So you stretch it this way, so there's room in the body now for blood to flow. And so there's two types of cupping. There's glass cupping, that we use fire. It's called fire cupping. I take a fire, I make a fire, I put it in here, and I put it on your butt, and it'll just absorb, and your skin goes up. Your skin actually goes up. And it stretches it. And if you have an adhesion, I actually had a man that broke his humerus and went to surgery and had a rod placed. But then when he started recovering, there was a dimple where an adhesion or hard scar tissue formed, and he could only hold his arm up to here. But because he was 82, he didn't want another surgery to release, for them to go in and release the adhesion. So he heard about acupuncture, he wanted to try it. It took us 8 sessions. We went around and around and around, and then we pulled and pulled. And after 8 sessions, the dimple disappeared, and he can raise his arms up.
Wow.
And so I have pictures to show you of what the cupping does. I couldn't, I don't have anything blown up, but I have pictures to show you. And actually, with cupping, we can actually see scar tissue. If you have scar tissue, because it's your own tissue, MRIs and CTs won't pick it up, but we can actually see scar tissues.
Margaret, how long do you leave the needles in?
We leave them in 20 minutes. So our session is an hour. And so what I do, because we do acupuncture all the time, your sessions are 1-hour sessions and we never leave the room. We're doing head to foot acupuncture, we're doing cupping, we're doing gua sha. I'm going to explain some of the other things that are available to you. Gua sha. So sometimes I'm fighting to get done in an hour. I may not be able to get done in an hour.
No, she's racing. She does a lot, a real lot.
Instead of the cups, couldn't use a vacuum cleaner?
You can use plastic cups. They have plastic cups that is on a
Stick the
suction.
vacuum cleaner hose on and
Yeah.
Troublemaker.
The warm feels good though.
The warmth and the heat of, I will find it here for you so I can, the cupping is amazing.
I never wanted to scream for it.
It really, really helped.
Yeah, I was a school nurse for a while back, and I had a Vietnamese family, and one little girl had terrible headaches. Well, when she went down with headaches, she wanted me to call her sister. And her sister came down, and they spooned her back.
Yes, that's gua sha, spooning and gua sha.
Yeah, and this was back in the 80s, and she just, went down her spine with a spoon. And then also you can see where it would kind of dilate the vessels in the brain and help with her
It's
head.
all connected.
Yeah, and modern medicine is just starting to acknowledge inflammation.
Yes.
We've seen
know,
real.
That's true.
Yeah. 10 years ago, they didn't think inflammation did anything.
And then when you
Now
have
everything's contributed to
an
inflammation.
adhesion, and you can't tell, you can't tell the needles in the legs because they're so light. You can't tell the needles in the legs, but here's acupuncture needles in the legs. It's very hard to, because they're so light. You have rows of them going down your legs. You see acupuncture needles? They're down your legs. We'll do them all down your legs, all down your back. We'll have rows of them all down your back. This is just your leg. Well, because we practice, we could have 70, 80 needles in you, but you won't even know it, because we're talking to you. You won't feel, and I can use the same needles, and when you have a bad spot, it feels like a log going in, and other needles you can't even feel going in. Same needle, depends on, where you have it. And so, we do buttocks, we do back, we do ears, we do scalp, we do feet, and so, we do abdomen. We do the whole chakra system. We'll go through your whole chakra system and
What is
line
a
it.
chakra? Exactly, in
I
your
was going
mind.
to ask too, what was the chakra? And I missed it.
The chakra system, if you look at their energy systems that control that portion of the body, And so there's 7 main in what the world agrees on. So we have our base chakra, you know, and we have 7. And they have colors and they have vibrations, and so they control that portion of our body. And so, so with the chakra systems, we try to realign and that's not part of acupuncture. It's part of energy medicine and Chinese medicine. So we try to kind of
The
try to
chakras
combine
are a
all
whole
of them.
different system than the meridians and the ki
Yes,
and
yes. It's a totally different system.
another
than-
system that science has not detected.
Yes, but that's been around for thousands of years, right?
Western,
so-
Western science.
Yeah, but I'm
Well,
not gonna
yes.
go to an African witch doctor either
Well,
for,
it's not.
And then when you talk
they
about
have
the
ancient
scraping,
medicine.
Um,
you can, the
What?
farmers used to
Ancient
use this
doesn't
because
make
they
it
had
real.
no other, no
Uh-huh.
others.
Right.
But
Research
we have
is
different
what
shapes, we have squares,
Yeah,
but
they haven't
this
done
is
it.
good for arthritis of the fingers. So arthritis of the fingers, we can scrape your back, can you feel this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we teach people with arthritis, we teach you how to help your arthritis, we have
Do you see
exercises.
things like bunions and arthritis on your feet?
Yes, and we scrape your back, If you have a child with fever, 104 fever, if you scrape their back the night before and you bring out all the autoimmune system, we go through the bone marrow. It's an old, thousands of year old. It actually breaks the fever the next morning. It's amazing when you do scrapings. But what you do is you go over bone, because when you have pressure over bone, it stimulates the bone marrow to stimulate. But with acupuncture, we actually have a bone marrow spot. We have autoimmune spots, and that's one of the things I want to teach you today, is I want to go over acupressure points, and points that are very beneficial for anyone to do.
But don't you see, like even they're doing the Reiki system now in the
Yes,
hospital?
yes.
I mean, you know,
Krause Hospital does Reiki. If you're in the
Yeah.
hospital, Krause, you can
Yeah.
ask for Reiki.
Yeah.
A lot
Is
of
that
the
covered by
nurses,
insurance?
they do it for free.
yeah.
Oh.
You just ask for it, they do it for free.
It was in
Pre
the paper
post
this
surgery,
week.
Yeah.
it's
But you know,
pre-surgery, post-surgery.
And I've been in medicine for 40-some years, and we all poo-ha it, but, you know, it works.
It
Well,
works.
and for Christian people, we pray and lay hands on people.
Yes.
And it's kind of the rate.
It's the same, it's the intention of trying to help you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Isn't it all?
Right.
It's the intention
It's
of
healing
helping
energy.
people.
And I've
It
seen
is
that, I'm a
about
nurse too, and I've seen a priest,
Yes.
and people actually come in and they lay hands on him,
And you feel good, right? You feel
the
something.
warmth, You feel
And everybody's
relief.
different.
Yes.
What one priest does, another priest, they can do the same thing, right?
Right.
So you could have 10 Reiki masters, but they all have different energies, right? We're all different.
Right.
So one person responds to this person and one person responds, so you have to find the person that you correlate with, that it speaks to you with, right? And that's very important.
What about reflexology?
Do you believe in reflexology?
No, but I just wanna know what you think about it.
Oh, I think all energy work is great. And I think it depends on the
Because
practitioner.
I'm just looking, their map of the foot is totally different than your map of the foot.
Yes, because there's very many differences. There's the Indian system, there's the Chinese system,
Well,
there's
if you say the kidney is here and they say the kidney is in the big toe,
because it's different systems. Do you take the microspasm or do you take the little? You can take the whole hand or you take one hand and do the same body structure. Actually, some people believe that we have the whole body in every part of us. Every cell has the potential to become every part of our body. So you can get very technical. I mean, you can get very.
if you wanna get down to the DNA,
Every cell is a whole universe in
if they're a
itself.
stem cell.
And so it's very fascinating. And so, but I think if you believe in energy and you're passionate about it, we all have energy. I mean, people don't realize we have auras. And one way I speak about auras is you have a stranger that comes up and go, hi there, and you go back off, you're in my space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's a comfort level as to how close you get to someone. You get too close and it's like, hey, wait a minute, you're invading my space.
But some people just, oh.
Yes,
Somebody
right?
might give you a hug.
Right, but most people, it's kind of like, oh, back
right,
off
right,
a little
right,
bit.
right,
I mean, if you're talking to me like this is not comfortable.
No,
Right?
right.
I'm not hugging you, but I'm just in your space.
Right.
But if I'm here, I'm okay, because that's where our two energies.
Oh.
And so, we all have energy fields, we just can't see them, right? Just because
Or-
we can't,
We
Or
do.
do they exist?
Well, we
Well,
do
does God
know that
exist?
everything is made of
right?
energy.
Well, what's faith? What's faith?
Isn't it?
What's God? What's energy? What's energy? Why does a light bulb work?
Electricity.
Can you see electricity? Can you feel
You can test it,
electricity?
you can do tests, you can show the effects of electricity.
But we
That they
know that-
work for everybody, every time.
We know the universe, everything in the universe is made of energy.
It's quantum physics. Actually,
Yes.
somebody once said that quantum physics will prove God.
My-
It's particle wave
It's
We're
just
both
waving your
particle
hands and
waves.
saying it's quantum physics.
on that.
No,
And
they're-
so-
they're-
But that's why you find the thing that works for you,
Show
what
me
you
the
believe in.
equations.
And if you don't believe in something, don't go to it,
Right.
because it doesn't jive with your body.
Right,
Our body
right,
resonates
right.
at different frequencies. What makes kidney cells kidney cells? It's their vibrational frequency, which is different from liver cells. Now, how does the stem cells know which ones to turn into? What hormone, what triggers it to turn into a kidney cell versus a liver cell
Well, they're
versus an eye
studying
cell
that,
versus
and they
a
can,
muscle
and
cell,
we'll find
right?
it out.
But isn't that amazing? I mean, we're walking miracles, we really are.
Oh, sure, well,
All
something
right.
far greater than us
Oh,
created us.
And so it's the more you learn about the
That's
body, it's
right.
like, oh my gosh,
Right.
we don't have to know how to do it. But I wanted to kind of go over a couple modalities, and then I want to teach you something, so you leave here with something. And so we talked about guasa. Now, a lot of PTs are doing this. A lot of PTs are doing cupping, all right, with the plastic cupping, all righty? So it's starting to spread, all righty? Besides acupuncture, all kinds of energy work, Reiki, right? Reiki, Qigong, Tai Chi, they're gentle, they help you. A lot of the PT people uses these exercise balls. So if you have something injured, you want to stimulate blood flow and your hands get tired. So they'll have all kinds of little gadgets to help ourselves, right? So that we can stimulate blood flow. It's all blood flow, right? It's very, so they have all kinds of gadgets that if you have calf pain, okay, it may help, it may not help. Fingers,
I
arthritis.
like these guys. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, that was like
Arthritis.
cramps,
Oh, I like this.
like cramps
good.
in the night.
Yes,
Those things.
they say that, but you know what? I find that it's good just,
This is
I use
awesome.
that not when you have cramps, because when you have cramps, you can't touch it, it hurts
Yes.
so bad. This helps because you can't always pound your legs and get it to be loose, right? So,
We gotta get one of
so
these.
some of these, like
This
when
is
I find
awesome.
some of them, I buy them because
Where'd you find that?
I have no idea, I picked it up somewhere, but you can do arms,
That's
you can do,
awesome.
so people do invent, but for arthritis, you want, okay, so different things, I know for you, but if you have any kind of finger pain, joint pain, all right? I tell you, my mother has been doing this for years, and people with arthritis,
You see that?
with arthritis, your joints hurt, all right? Hands, feet, joints hurt. What you have to do is you have to stimulate it, so you make sure you unwind and wind. The nerves go up the sides, so you want to go like this. And you want to stimulate the blood flow and loosen it up, and you go on the other side. Then you go this side, and then you switch, so you do both sides. Stimulate. Okay? You want to do that whenever you're watching TV, when you have some free time, because the more blood you get in here, the more healing you get. Remember, blood brings in nutrition, takes away waste. All right? The more, and when you have arthritis, it freezes. So you have a spot that's blocked. You can't get the blood trickles. It doesn't flow. So you want to keep the arthritis at bay.
When I was, I have damaged my ulnar and my medium nerve, and I can't hold a guitar pick.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is, I got that's motorized stimulator, and I use it on here before I play,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of minutes, they're back and forth.
Wow.
It's heating it up. It's like
All of
people
a
with
sudden,
arthritis.
I can play.
You're
Without-
worse in the morning, but
I
after
can
you're
do
up
it.
for a while and you're moving, it's better,
I
right?
can start playing without dropping it.
Wow,
Yes.
that's great.
Yeah,
It's
so
getting the blood moving.
it's an
It's getting-
electronic. Well, I don't know. It's like sort of to me in physical therapy. So you can get one of these.
Little pens, like a
Yeah.
nerve stimulator.
Yeah, and it works well. What would help the feet?
You were mentioning the fingers,
What
like
would-
if you were doing that with the toes, with, you know.
Yes,
with
you
your
help the
hand-
toes. Now, there's certain spots I'm gonna go over with you. This is a massage ball I picked up at Target 5 years ago. They're selling this for $5. Feel how good it feels if you have a place to roll. Feel how good that is when you have a spot that you need to roll. To kind of, so I find all kinds of things work, you know? But
Yeah.
massage works. Now, shiatsu started in China because they know that you have to get blood in, and when you have something that hurts. Now, I tell this story because this is a really, really good story my mother used to tell. She remembers when she was growing up as a little child, in the Chinese community. After dinner, they have the peddlers that come out with roasted chestnuts, roasted peanuts, and they go, because they're in crowded cities, right? Your city living. They'll go around and they'll sell, so you go out and say, I want a pound of this or a pound. But they also have the blind. The blind are the greatest masseuse. So if you're born blind, you have a job for life. You are a masseuse. So they go and they play their flute. And as they go down and somebody has, oh gee, my hip's been aching me for a while. So you call them in and you pay them for an hour and they do the shiatsu for an hour. And after a while, this gets so hot, then it gets itchy, gets red, and then you know what? Your pain's gone. Because you know what? They just vibrated and got the blood through because it was kind of stuck. You had an injury. Something was stuck. And it's called shiatsu, and that's how shiatsu started. And if you need it 2 nights in a row, you hire them 2 nights in a row, and it's preventative medicine.
I can do it.
All right? So you're sore somewhere, you have somebody work on you. It's like intensive. No. This is for regular people, it's prevention, right? You hurt yourself. Let's have somebody massage, get that blood in there. Do it gentle, right? Depending. Now, for GBS, what you're going to do now is help your autoimmune system. That's all you can do is help your autoimmune system, right? You're going to do any kind of muscle relaxation that you can, which is Epsom salt baths.
I do a lot of those.
Epsom salt is mag sulfate, right? Magnesium goes through the skin to relax the muscles. So you put 2 cups in a small bathtub, 4 cups in a deeper bathtub. Now some people put 2 cups of Epsom salt and 2 cups of the Dead Sea salts with the minerals in there. So it's 4 cups in as hot of a water and you soak in there, and that mag sulfate goes in. All right, the other thing you want to ask your doctor is when athletes get injured or you have a lot of spasms, we take magnesium by mouth. Now magnesium is what's in all the antacids to help you go. So you have to be careful that you're not having diarrhea with it. But a lot of people take 300 milligrams in the morning, 300 at night with spasms in the legs. And then you do Epsom salts. So that's something that you want to ask your doctor, are you able to take magnesium? Epsom salt most people can do, that's not a problem. Alrighty? You want to de-stress yourself. You know, it's make sure that you're not anxious and you don't have any extra stress that you can help. I mean, everybody has stress, but decrease as much stress as you can in your life. And then get massages, go to PT if it's early. Different things that you can do are, we can teach you acupressure points. So, as you know, we have the whole body in our ears, all right? And the rim of our ears is our back and our skeleton, and our legs go straight up. So if you start massaging your ears, massage your ears every day. It's awesome. You're going to feel good. That's why kids love having their ears rubbed. And ears shouldn't be stiff. If you notice, most of us are stiff in our ears, all right? And it shouldn't be stiff. So I'm going to use you. Let me just kind of see. Right here. See, it should bend. But yeah, and you crack and you cradle, and then you go in the hole and you pull it every direction, and it actually helps your sinus and your eustachian tubes. All right, but make sure that you pull. You just kind of rub so that the ear gets kind of hot, but you kind of help your whole body's health overall. So the spine is your skeleton. It's an upside down man. So here's the face, as you can tell in the ear here. So this is your face, this is your cervical neck, it goes to mid-thoracic back, this is your low back, this is your hip area, your feet go straight back, and here's your feet, and your arms go back like this, and your arms are here. These are all your organs. These are all your organs. This is your allergy point, this is your hypertension point. So people that have allergy and hypertension, we have them just rub.
So
All right,
this
this little spot, see the hole we call the fossa? You see the fossa? The tip of the fossa is the stress point.
Where
All
would
right.
you rub for headaches?
You rub the whole place for headaches.
The whole
You can do the whole lobe, because this is your head. This whole thing's your head. Alrighty? But this is your de-stress point. This is your stress point. So this is the fossa. So I just have people just rub and pull like this on the upper. You're going like this. But it's a de-stress point. And this is called your tranquilizer point right here. So I rub right here for tranquilizer. So there's different points you can do for yourself. And after you get to it's after a while, you don't have to do it for long. And you feel the heat. And you feel like, no, I'm a little calmer. I'm just a little calmer. It's wonderful. So rub your ears. Doesn't hurt to rub your ears. Rub your ears. Okay? And so for your feet is up here. So you're gonna rub your feet here and your arms are here, your back's here. You just rub the whole area, and then if you detox your organs, go in the middle, detox your
My
organs.
feet, in the morning, like my feet just,
It's like the,
like the muscles are just not working.
It's not working,
So
it's
that's,
tight.
so would it be good to do this like before you get out of bed and stuff?
Yes, do that, but also rotate.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, work your feet.
right.
This is good, but it goes to the brain within 30 seconds to send it to the rest of the body. But because you have GBS, it's gonna take longer because the nerves aren't working, right? So you're trying to re-stimulate the brain, connect it to the spinal column, connect it to the damaged nerves, right? That's what we have to do. We have to work on every level with you, all right? So, thank you. And so different points are, for pain, we call this the 4 gates. It's the section and the V of where your thumb and your index finger meet. It's where the peak is when you put your thumb together. And it's tender, it's a point toward the index finger. And that's the pain point. It's a de-stressor. We teach kids to rub this when they have exams. SAT, they're doing their SAT, you're going for your boards. Rub this point, it'll calm you down, help you focus. All right? So, and it's usually tender. So it's right here. Can you feel that?
The atrophied on the right when the median and the
Ah,
ulnar nerve
yes.
got compressed.
Yes, but you know what?
But it's
You
coming
just
back.
rub. Yep, you just rub.
It is coming back.
You want to do everything. You go like this, you go like this, you rub there, you just rotate it, you just get as much back as you can. All right, and then you pull.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah.
Like a piece
And
of
then
wood.
you pull your wrist,
Wow,
and that separates and gives area to your wrist.
wow.
This is Tui Na. This is Chinese PT and massage all rolled into one.
Oh, that's
So
working.
it's like occupational therapy.
It's
for the
yeah.
hands and
So
the
we do a
fingers.
lot. We do a
Yeah.
lot, and it's right here.
Beautiful.
Can you
Sometimes
feel
it
that?
doesn't feel so good when she's doing it, but then it's like
Can you
so much better.
You like that?
It's warm,
Yeah.
it's
What was the
warm.
name of
Feet.
that?
This is called Tui Na.
Twaina.
Can you do that? I can do that by myself.
You do that by yourself, yes. So you go, and that's good for arthritis. You rotate both ways. You rotate
See, I
both
can't
ways.
see how I can't get it to go together? Well, no.
Yeah, but little by little, you're working on it.
It's better than it used to be.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all right, and you pull, so because fingers go out just like anything else, okay? And then this point is awesome for any pain. If you have pain or you're anxious or you're stressed, start rubbing this. You'll feel it.
Right there.
Do that more, let's do
Can you feel
Like
it?
this, do it like this.
So they
Then
was
you
So
got
those are
stress
things
on
we
both
teach
sides.
kids to. Can you imagine if we went and taught the kindergarten kids how much we could
Feels
teach
good.
about de-stressing? And if they have any disease, we start them right away. Wouldn't that be awesome if we, by adults, they know how to de-stress, and if they know that they have pain, can you feel that? Okay, but that's a great point to press. Okay? Right here. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because acupressure you have to do because you don't have the needle. We're not going right in. That's why sometimes the needle is easier because it's so thin. You go right in, you don't feel the pain. Some people it's really tender. They don't want you to touch it, but the needle is so thin it goes right in. They can't feel it, and it just releases. Just releases.
I do that. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Okay, right there. You press right there.
I feel like it's filled. Don't think about it.
She moved everything around.
And I used to do that. I didn't even know I was doing it. I would find myself doing it.
Self-stimulating like stuff.
All right. You want to try? You want to?
Yeah,
No?
it feels great.
Okay. You know the point, right?
Yeah,
You know the point. You've been doing that for a
Yeah.
while. All right. So it's right here. It's right there. And it's toward the index finger. It's toward the index finger side. And it's where the most pain is. You go where the most pain is for you. Okay? So that's a really good point. Now, for autoimmune, if you see the crease, you know how the elbow forms this crease? Right at the end of the crease, there's a little sulcus, we call it a little, you rub there. And most people are tender. At the end of the crease, right here, you press, it's a little tender. That's a good autoimmune point. It's easy for you to do. I mean, it's easy to reach.
Like right there.
You see the end of the crease here? Right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You see? And most of the time, if you have a problem, it's tender. If it's not tender, you don't need it.
That's what the autoimmune is just.
So like,
Which,
Can you feel the
yeah,
end of the
pretty
crease?
CIDP is, but I.
It's where the slope is tender, we could all use it, see, we could all use it, these are all things that, it's more for health, and if you bend it, help the crease into your
Oh,
right there. Yeah.
And you're.
If it's tender, you need it. If it's not tender, you don't need it.
Immune system.
Same thing
So-
with, same thing with acupuncture points.
Yep.
This is really good for kids with eczema, kids with eczema, dry skin, any kind of skin problems, it's especially good
It
autoimmune
was
ones.
tender when
You
she
feel
was
that?
doing it, but it felt good at this.
Yeah, but she said if it didn't hurt, then you didn't need it.
Try
So what do you mean?
So,
Oh, my
the
other
end of
hand
the
is
crease of the
more.
fossa.
I know mine does.
So, and if a point is tender, you need it. If the point isn't tender, you don't need it. Same thing with acupuncture. If the point hurts, you needed it. It's anti-inflammatory. If the point doesn't hurt, you probably didn't need it. We're just balancing things. So if you look at this, and then see the
And
crease.
doing this helps gets rid of it?
It helps it balance.
Balance.
Helps
Right,
it,
doesn't
everything's
get
about
rid of it.
balance. So if you look at the
Balance.
crease and you have this little hole right here, this is tender, it's good. It's a good point to just rub. If you're watching TV, rub it for a minute. Doesn't hurt. Oh, you got it right there. It really is a good point, good point. Good for kids, babies with eczema, good point to rub. But if you have any kind of autoimmune, it doesn't hurt to do it, okay? At the end of the crease, okay? So you find the end of the crease here,
That's okay, nobody else can do it for you though.
okay, so if it's tender.
Fingers to do our toes. We're doing all these body parts through here, we'll do here, we'll do this
Yep,
for your
you got it,
toes.
you got it, go right on it. Yep, so it's right past the end here and it's right up there.
Oh, that does.
Yeah, alright. So you go to the crease.
You go down into the bridal area, and it's
So if you're not sure, you don't need it.
the head. And then it goes down, it goes up around the bridal, where the movement is.
Okay, then just gentle. Whatever your body will take. You just wanna start stimulating the nerves. You just wanna stimulate the nerves.
So we gotta figure out what works for you.
Yes, rotate your hand, loosen it up. Gentle. Just whatever you can tolerate. Okay? But you wanna move it, because if you don't move it, you lose it. Yes, yes. No. So you can feel it.
This one too.
Yeah, so this is one that you gotta work on more. You gotta go for some solution, just.
what was the hand?
And also she said for any pain.
Yeah, but
It's good, I don't need to replace it, this guy wants me,
because it's trying to,
orthopedic guy the
all the
other
bones
day,
are trying to stick to one bone, right? You don't want it to.
and,
Like, hold it here.
it's precise.
Oh, so
So,
You
what
just
are
do
they
whatever
gonna
they
do
do.
about it?
therapy, the physical
So
therapist
you
just
can't
said,
take it.
you gotta relax, you know,
Twice a day,
it's crazy, so I
and then
have
another
3
time.
bags of dirt and 4 bags of salt.
Oh,
So I said, Brett, I gotta get this done today, because I gotta relax.
Now it's too late.
So yesterday,
You can do that in a relaxed state too.
oh, yeah,
There's dirt.
It's-
I mean, I don't mean horrible, but once you start working on it, so yeah, well, that's a relaxing feeling.
At least it would feel good.
So
I've gotten some good deals through Groupon for like $39.
I'll check out. $60.
Yeah.
Always say,
That's
think there's something else I
Again,
can do.
beautiful job.
Yeah,
You know,
that's pretty sweet.
cost, $50 everything does it, but.
I swear by it. It definitely helps me a lot, cause I didn't.
When he does it, will he go in, clean up the bags?
Well, everybody charges differently, so that's a good
Once I go
question.
to my coffee.
You get the non-MDs that might charge anywhere from 70 to 110 per session. They see 4 patients an hour. They'll put 6 to 12 needles in you. You lay there for 20 minutes and you come back 3 times a week to twice a week for a year.
How much does it cost usually to do something?
That's what she was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yes. So it's 70 to 110
I got it, okay.
for 20 minutes,
Okay.
6 needles,
For
whatever
a
part.
non-MD. she's
For a
talking.
non-MD.
Oh.
So, which part do you want to work on?
Yeah.
Your knee, your toe, your leg. I'll do one part. okay?
It's for the non-MD.
All right, so you pay 3 times a week, 70 to 110, depending on how much they charge, and everybody sets up their own fees. And you go 2 to 3 times a week for as long as you need it, and it could be non-nuts. And that's what we had to do in pain clinic, because we're employees of the pain clinic. So people came for backache, it's 6 needles in your back, you come Monday, Wednesday, Friday. After 9 months, they say, gee, doc, I think I feel something, but California pays for it, okay? New York State depends on your insurance. Now, if you're a federal employee, it pays 100%. And everybody else, Medicare doesn't pay anything. And everybody else, you call your insurance and find out. And they don't know the difference between MDs and non-MDs. Now, most MDs practice 1 afternoon a week. If they're neurologists or they're psychologists, they'll have 1 half day or 2 half days to practice, and they practice their neurology the rest of the time. Lynn and I are one of the few that do full-time acupuncture. We retire from our, family practice or whatever. We do 1 hour and we go from head to toe, and we do all these modalities, whatever you need. We charge $225 the first time, and we charge $180 thereafter, and we're rushing to get done in an hour. We try to see you 3 times, because if we see you 3 times, the 3rd time cell memory sets in. So when we put the needle in, the muscle relaxes. Now, I have patients that have come to me for 2 years, and they come every 2 weeks. And their story is that I have severe back pain, and they've already had 2 surgeries. They have scar tissue that's wrapped around the spinal nerve. So their surgeon says, yes, I can do surgery to relieve the pain. 50% you'll be paralyzed, you'll come out and you will never move again. 50% it will help, but the pain can recur because you've had it before. And they say, no thanks, I have a good job, I can afford the acupuncture, I have a full life, I don't hurt it, but it only lasts 2 weeks, so I come back every 2 weeks, and they get massage and they get acupuncture. And that's what they want. And they're able to afford it, okay? And that's the thing, is we want insurance to pay so that you don't have to take it. You have a co-pay or something, but you don't foot all the bill. And that's why we try to do as much as we can and lengthen it. So if we need to see you the first time, then we see you 2 weeks later, then we can see you 3 weeks later, then if we can see you 4 weeks later, and then try to get you as long as you can before you need a tune-up, is how we operate. So we go per session. We don't say, oh, you're here for 9 months, I got you for 9 months, or I got you for a year. So it's really, what do you need? Now, some people need it chronically. Like, I could work on Anita for the rest of her life. And it'll maintain her, and she'll have, but we can't reverse what damage has been. It's too long, it's too chronic. But it can help it not get any worse. It'll stabilize you.
Do you have CIDP?
I have GBS.
GBS.
But we have a woman with arthritis, and her rheumatologist told her, she's a piano teacher. She has these big knuckles and the rings between her fingers. She's 53 years old. They told her, find another career, because within 3 months you'll lose the use of your hands. So she came in crying. She came in crying to my professor when I was in California. And my professor says, don't worry, don't listen to them. You'll maintain your hands. She is 83 years old. It's been 30 years. She is the same as she was at 53. We couldn't reverse anything, but we maintained her at that stage. She's still teaching piano, and she drives 3 hours. She's in a retirement home in Walnut Creek. And she drives 3 hours every 3 months for a tune-up. So it maintains you. So we can't cure, but if you're an athlete and you sprain something and you get right in with PT and acupuncture, we reverse things within 6 weeks. That would take 3, 4, 5 months to heal. So a lot of the professional teams now, they won't say it because it's kind of their secret weapon. They'll have a lot of acupuncturists on board. They have their own massage therapists, they have their own PT that travels, they have their own docs that travel with them. So they get the team so that their athletes that are injured will heal as fast as they can. So move, gentle movement, whatever you can take, gentle. Okay, and as you get better and better, you can do a little more, but keep it moving so you don't get contractures, all right? So you have 1 point, 2 point, okay? Now, on the feet, this is the point I always do on Anita. And everybody's different because of your body size. It's your fingers, it's your 4 fingers. Take your 4 fingers, go above your ankle, and at that point, right above in the middle here, that's your bone marrow stimulation point. Okay? All right? And so on this side, completely opposite, it's your forefingers, that's your hormones and neurotransmitters. And it's tender on most people on the inside.
Get some serotonin going.
Yes, yes, and what people do is, they take their foot and they rub it. They just go up and down their shins,
Yeah.
okay? You just rub it, and you just go like this and you rub it, okay? And then when you're watching.
I am weak, That's why I needed somebody to balance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so what do you think of that?